I took a well-fitted t-shirt and I used that as a pattern for the red top. The fabric that I'm using is a stretch velvet, and with velvet, when you brush your hand up against it, it goes different directions. So you want to make sure that the front and the back are the same, because the shine will look different if you look from the side. Since this is stretch fabric, I'm using the serger with the fleecy thread. You can also use a zigzag on the sewing machine. For the sleeve pattern, I basted off of the t-shirt. However, I added more width to it so I could gather it and get the puff look. For the neckline, I only serge it. I don't sew it up afterwards because it's going to be hidden by the vest. So for the zigzag in the front of the body, since it's completely straight and there's no curve, you're able to make all the zigzag even. So I measured it out with my sewing gauge, and I marked pins first, and then I drew on the lines with pencil. If you don't want to do this with sewing thread, there's another option, is you could paint the lines on instead. To get the desired thickness that I wanted, I went back and forth 5 times. The collar is very stiff and stands up very straight, so I used double thick interfacing and I basted that to one side of the collar. I cut the interfacing short because if it went all the way of the collar, it would get in the way of the zipper, and sewing a zipper with very thick fabric is quite difficult. So I decided to do the lining the same way as the main fabric, and I did the extra effort to add the gray into the lining, because when you stand and when you move around for different poses, I didn't want to see black lining with gray fabric on the armholes. So the first part that we sew is the armholes. Then you sew the neckline, the bottom at the back, and do not sew the side seams, because if you do, you won't be able to flip the vest right side out. And sew the bottom of the front. After I flip the vest right side out, I iron the arm parts, which is of the gray fabric, and I also iron the bottom of the vest. Ironing first makes doing the zigzag part easier. Since the armhole is on a curve, you won't be able to get the zigzag even throughout. That means the distance between each zigzag will not be the same. So I did it by eye, and I used the pins as a marker of where I wanted to put the lines.